In this video, I want to talk about how to get out of a rut or what to do when life is just feeling kind of average and you're like, we need to liven it up. I want this video to motivate you, but also give you really actionable things that you can do when you're like, I just feel stuck. Things just aren't feeling good. We're gonna get straight into it with the very first thing that you can do when you're feeling stuck, when you're feeling and that is to change the way that you're thinking about it. So one of the biggest things that has helped me when it comes to times in my life where I've been like, life just, it's not feeling good. I feel like I'm not moving forward. Think of those feelings of stuckness, of like, ugh, as prompts for you to look at what you want to do next, to consider what you want to change, and to take action. I actually think that some of the biggest growth or the biggest changes can come from those times when you are feeling stuck, because that's when you are most prompted, most motivated to do things differently. A really good quote that I like to apply in these situations is, if you have problems, change their name into challenges and find solutions. If you're feeling dissatisfied, see it as a good thing. Dissatisfaction is usually what prompts change and growth. Now let's get into the actionable steps. So step one is radical honesty. Imagine you're going on a road trip, it's this weekend, and you don't know where that road trip is actually starting from. It's a lot harder to move forward without a clear starting point. You're gonna be more demotivated, more frustrated, and you're gonna end up going the wrong way. When you're in a rut, when you're feeling stuck, same. It is so hard to move forward when you aren't radically honest with yourself about where you're at. There are so many things that can go wrong. You can start going in the wrong direction, start doing things because you feel like you need to do things, and the things that you're doing aren't really the things that are going to help. Secondly, you might actually be catastrophizing a little. You might be sitting there going, oh God, I'm stuck in such a rut. But when you really get honest with yourself, it's just that your career isn't feeling good. It's one little part of your life, not your whole life. When you are radically honest with yourself about where you are, that's you marking the line in the sand, giving yourself a clear indicator of where your starting point is. There are a few different methods that you can use to get radically honest with yourself. Something I've been doing lately is I've been getting out my audio recorder, setting a timer for 15 minutes and literally just talking out loud for 15 minutes. If journaling feels too slow or annoying, that's a really good option. You can take yourself for a walk and just think on the topic. You can free write, but you really want to be bringing up the questions, how is life really for me right now? What's really going on? What feelings are coming up? This is about being radically honest with yourself so you can call yourself out when you minimize and when you exaggerate. So step two of getting out of a rut is questioning. So ask yourself, if I want to move out of this rut, if I want to move out of this stuckness, what questions do I need to answer? For example, what would an enjoyable and fulfilling life look like for me? Really consider, what questions do I need to answer to move myself out of this feeling of stuckness? Then set aside just 15 minutes a day. It can be before bed, when you first wake up. Just mull on those questions as you walk, as you free speak, as you free write. It's just about occupying your mind with a question. One of the kind of weird things that I've found about these kind of thinking sessions is that I might come to revelations. A lot of the time I do, but oftentimes it'll be like 5 days later when I'm doing something completely unrelated that I'll have a thought about what I previously journaled on. And I'll be like, oh, like I figured it out. But those little revelations don't come to me unless I do the journaling in the first place. And that's because when you occupy your brain with a problem by thinking about something deeply enough, your brain will want to solve it for you. That's what brains do. But you need that first step of thinking about something deeply to get your brain focused on the thing. This video is sponsored by Blinkist. Blinkist allows you to understand the most important things from over 5,500 books and podcasts. You can fit Blinkist anywhere in your day so that you can be educated, entertained, and also get things done at the same time. Personally, I've been really liking using Blinkist to remind me of the most important things that I've learned from books that I've read. For example, earlier I was listening to the book Unwinding Anxiety, which is a book that I have read before. So in this Blink, they talk about how worry and anxiety can be a habit just like any other habit, and it can feel almost addicting. And the main message of the book is that when you apply mindfulness to the habit of worry or rumination, you almost become conscious of how bad it feels, and you rewire your body to understand that that isn't an enjoyable or helpful pattern. The more that you apply that mindfulness and let your body know, hey, that's not enjoyable, the less likely it is to serve that kind of thinking up to you in the future. If you want to listen to that Blink, it's called Unwinding Anxiety by Judson Brewer. They also have a cool new feature called Blinkist Connect, which is where you can invite someone to share your premium plan. They get a separate account so you can share only what you want when you want, but you can share favorites and recommended titles to each other, which is really fun, and it's at no extra cost. You can get 25% off Blinkist Premium and enjoy 2 accounts for the price of 1. Start your free trial by clicking the link down in the description below. The next step to getting unstuck is creating a really clear vision of what unstuck looks like. When people talk about creating a vision for your life, usually they are talking about that 5-year vision, that 10-year vision. Right now, we're talking about that 1-month vision, that 3-month vision. You need a clear picture of yourself that feels really realistic in a month or even 6 months time. No more than that. I love a mind map for this kind of thing. Sometimes creating a vision feels overwhelming. It feels like you don't really know where to start. So I wanted to show you a really easy, messy way to create a vision that will still leave you feeling inspired and motivated, but just doesn't require that much mental effort. So you're gonna start out on a piece of paper, and in the middle, you're gonna wanna write something like, you know, my unstuck self. For this example, I've written my most alive self. And then you want to branch out to things like your beliefs, your behaviors, and your traits, and anything else that you can think of. And then you just want to start branching out to literally the first thing that comes to mind. This is going to be so much easier if you've done some journaling. Don't go crazy. This isn't like a new version of yourself. This is just you in like a month's time or 3 months time. These should be pretty doable things that you know that you can work at that will just make you feel more alive, less stuck, less in a rut. So for example, under habits, you might branch out to no phone in the morning, and then you'd branch out to any ideas, action steps, questions that you want to think on. Next, plan out your week or plan out your month. Nothing brings clarity and motivation quite like a clear plan that you look at and you're like, yeah, that's totally doable. Where that vision might feel a little vague and, oh, how do I get there? A monthly plan or a weekly plan will feel the opposite of that. I think creating a plan for a whole month sounds like a lot. It also sounds kind of rigid, planning out a month. So I wanted to show you something that is a little bit more flexible that you can do just with a pen and paper. No fancy tools. This is what my easy monthly plan looks like. So on here I have my content section, my other projects, fun things I want to do, as well as events that I probably need to do stuff for. Every little bubble represents a 50-minute work session. So I like to work in sessions. I've talked about this before, but lately I've been working in little 25-minute sessions. So every time I do a little 25-minute session, I color in half a bubble. The next step is to face your resistance. Sometimes when you are stuck in a rut, a lot of it comes down to resistance. You're resisting doing the things that would make you feel more alive for one reason or another, and that is when a resistance map comes in. They are so easy to create. This is something that I've been loving doing. The purpose of resistance map is just to break down the resistance that you feel towards doing a project, a task, or making a change. Take a look at your monthly plan or weekly plan, and whatever you look at and you're like, oof, that still feels just like something I want to push to the side and not think about, give that task a resistance map. This is what a resistance map will start out like. First, you've got your feelings. So write down all the feelings that come up when you're thinking about the thing that you're resisting doing. So the journaling course is something that I'm thinking about doing for intention. The main feeling that's coming up is that I feel unsure. Then we move along to thoughts. So a thought that I'm having is, does anyone actually want to hear me talking about journaling? So generally, the videos that I've done about journaling haven't done that well. But journaling is also one of the things that has made the biggest differences in my life, in my quality of thinking in the past probably year and a half. All that to say, I think I just want to make this anyway, and I do think that I might use a word other than journaling, like tools for thought, because obviously journaling just doesn't perform that well for my audience. So then you want to move to your results. This isn't so much about the result that you want to achieve, although if that's not clear to you, definitely flesh that out. This is more about how can you make achieving that result easier. So for me with the journaling course, I can go through my old content and find any references to journaling and any of the concepts that I want to talk about in that course and pull all of that content to build upon and make better. I've also put down make it an ebook versus a video course because an ebook is obviously a lot less work. The last part of your resistance map is your action branch. That's where you just get clear on all of the little actions underneath that task. So for me, I've got things like create a new page for this project, map out the sections. I just did that as an example, but it was something that I actually felt resistance towards. Immediately, I feel so much less resistant towards it. And I didn't even flesh this out. Like I probably have many more thoughts and feelings about this and even ideas on how to make it easier, but even just that one really quick resistance map made me feel so much more capable of moving forward. There are so many other things that you can do when you're feeling stuck, when life is feeling and I've made videos about that kind of thing before. I'm gonna have on the screen some videos as well as down below some other videos to watch if you're in a place where you're like, I just feel so and those videos are going to be really helpful for you. I'd say this video is sort of the core steps to take when you're feeling stuck, but there's lots of other additional little things that you can obviously do to make life feel a little brighter more immediately. Thank you to Blinkist for sponsoring this video as well. Make sure to click the link down in the description below to get your free trial and 25% off of Blinkist Premium as well as a second account for someone else. I appreciate you so very much and I'll see you soon.